Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
David Lauer. You know, I feel like one of these episodes, you should introduce me. Why do I have to introduce myself?
What?
Am I wrong?
You are wrong, because the whole point is that you're letting the audience know your name and your voice. It's like football where they're like, Vincent Cloud, Louisiana State. David Lauer.
But no, they would have
Michigan.
Al Michaels do it.
Yeah.
Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am David Lauer. Is that all right?
What college?
Northeast Kentucky University. I know that's not a college. I made it up on purpose.
Do you think there's football fans that listen to this where they could be like, bullshit, Dave?
Well,
bullshit.
if someone's listening to it, they're obviously on their computer, and there's like a little Google search bar. They can just type in Northeastern Kentucky University.
I hope nobody holds your opinion as important to be like, no, Dave, no.
I don't know. I looked up your credentials, Dave. I'm not buying it. Oh.
Well, to be honest with you, we have a lot of conversations, and you have some very brash comments on a lot of subjects. I'm like, good point, Dave. But then sometimes I'm thinking, there's a storm outside.
Wow. That's the tornado siren,
Yeah,
right? Or is that the severe weather siren?
I hope it's just severe.
Yeah.
It's a severe, yeah.
You know what? I could look on my phone and see the weather situation, see if we have a tornado coming, but what's the fun in that, alright? I remember growing up and we didn't have those luxuries, you know?
Yeah.
You kind of just peek outside, and if trees start flying sideways...
Yeah. If Grandpa's bones started to ache, his joints... He's like, storm coming.
Yeah. If the little puppy runs under the porch, you know, oh, storm's coming.
If the horses are kicking up their legs this way and that, storm coming.
Yeah. If, I don't know. That's all I got.
Holy shit, that is loud. And piercing. Alright, yeah, so it is raining, and,
lots of thunder. I feel like it's just gotta be, is it tornado season? It's the beginning of May. When is tornado season?
Oh my god, and we're recording from a trailer park. We're doomed!
Oh my
god. We're fucked!
Hey, it stopped. Hey, we're still alive.
Alright, we are now reduced to just thunder claps in the distance. Let's get to the actual challenge. This is the third episode of the Duel 1. I like the challenge. It was quick, and it was brutal. And it was a female duel day. They said, hey, this is our first duel day because we got to skip the last one because Tina DQ'd herself. And now the tension is a little bit higher on the female side. So far, it's just been the guys sweating over shit. They've already had 2. It's called roller derby.
I know. This is a great idea for a challenge.
10 laps to it. They're not all going to go at once. They're going to be divided into heats. But the rules on this one, it's, I don't know if this is like regular roller derby or anything like that. Once you're on the straightaway part of the track, I think it's called like the action zones, where you can actually try and knock people. And you can't touch the railing. If you're touching the railing for too long, you're DQ'd. You're out. I think it was like 3 seconds. I know it was 3 seconds for sure if you're...
off the track.
And then, of course... Royal Rumble style, if you knock the person over the railing, they're out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
exactly.
badass. Yeah.
And you don't even need both feet to touch the floor, you know? You get 1 foot on the floor. Once you go over the railing, still, you're done.
So this is inviting so much brutality.
When I saw it, I'm like, we're going to see, like, the most ghetto chick is going to win. Like, the most tenacious, in your face, I'm going to freaking punch you in the face, knock out your teeth. That's what I was expecting, at least.
And for the guys, they're going to be doing the exact same thing, reducing themselves to the same low levels of sportsmanship because there's a fucking bike on the line.
Not just a bicycle.
Or vehicle.
Yeah,
BMW.
it's a freaking crotch rocket. A BMW? I'm not a motorcycle guy at all, but I had no idea that BMW made bikes. I don't know how much that would cost. Somewhere between $10,000 to $20,000, I'm assuming. Even if it's like a $7,000 bike, which it's a BMW, I feel like it would be more than that. Still, that's a crazy awesome prize for just like, oh, you know, third challenge, whatever.
Yeah, that is the stark contrast from these early challenges to the later ones.
You win like a $50 gift card to Chili's or something, right?
No.
It's just about. Well, you get like nothing. You just have to hope you get to the final. The only thing you're fighting for is to get to the end. But here, it's like, hey, if you win this, you're going to get this prize, plus you'll stick around.
I don't think anything really happened in the house leading up to this. No.
I do remember Evan sitting there, and then Anissa was talking about, I don't like all this backstabbing, and people will do anything for the money, and it's like, well, yeah, they're willing to do anything because there's $150,000 on the line, of course. You can't just like, oh, I'm too prideful, I'm not going to backstab, I'm not going to politic my way through the game. I mean, you can have that viewpoint, but you're ultimately not going to win the challenge because the way it works is you have to maneuver yourself in a way which is going to help yourself. And you're going to make enemies while you do that, and that's part of the game. But she seemed like she was just too prideful to, like, oh, I'm too good for that.
Yeah, if you can't pull the trigger, then it's like, they're going to shoot you. Yeah,
she's gone this far in the season without having to do that. But they will get to a point, and I'm sure it'll happen at some point this season, where she's going to have to do that. She's going to have to backstab somebody. She's going to have to do something political where it's going to turn on a friend of hers in order to save her own ass. And that's part of the game. And, you know, because you can go out there and you can win those challenges and do well in the competitions, but you also need to do the political side. And she's going to realize it comes to a point where she's going to have to. And she will. But now she's just trying to save face and act like she's holier than thou.
This is, like, I believe, Anissa's 4th challenge.
Is it really?
So, shouldn't she already know the ropes by now? She should have been exposed to enough corruption by this point.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, perhaps if she's been around that long, she might have just been saying that to make herself seem like a good girl to Evan, trying to paint herself in a favorable manner. But
this is really a Anissa-heavy episode in a way, because eventually she has that outburst of, like, I don't trust anybody. You know, I'm going to call anyone I need to call out. I'm looking out for number 1. So she kind of seemed like a cool chick at the beginning, but towards the end, she kind of exposed herself to everyone.
And we saw her true colors. Yep.
Yeah. With her
outbursts. Yeah. I forgot about her saying that at the end. But yeah, it was definitely her painting herself in a good manner. And then once she got chosen to be in the final, claws came out, and she was fucking nasty.
We mentioned the bike. That's
up for grabs.
Round 1 is a guy's heat. Evan, Kenny, Wes, and Brad. They start off.
Kenny grabbed Wes, right? Yeah. Okay, but then there's Brad and Evan. They kind of seem like they got a little bit of jump. So Wes and Kenny were already behind. It's like if you're behind the first 2 guys, you need to work together in order to take out the 2 guys in front of you. Mm-hmm. But Kenny was just like, oh, I'm going to take out Wes because I don't want to be last.
But I think what it comes down to is, like, Wes and Kenny were a little bit more slower, but Kenny still felt the need to tackle Wes down immediately. The first episode, before they were supposed to dive into the mud and swim and do the ring toss thing, Kenny and Wes were just wrestling with each other and shit.
There was nothing to gain. They needed to try and get first in order to get the bike. That's their only objective here, is to get that bike. He just immediately pulls him down.
No, I'm just saying, like, in terms of his target, Kenny wasn't going to choose Evan or Brad. He was going to choose Wes, who he picks all the time, trying to show him up in front of everybody. You know what I mean? But Kenny, again, is not the smartest guy. That was established in the first thing, where he was winning because no one thought of him with the ring toss.
Yeah, you just happen to be the lucky guy who.
And Evan was like, this dumb fool had some dumb luck, and Wes is like, a dumb guy wins this one, a fat guy won the last one. So yeah, Kenny is not very bright at all. So he's trying to drag Wes down to the ground. Wes actually does get away from him, and Kenny ends up getting DQ'd because he keeps on hanging on to the rails, I think. But eventually, I think it was Brad who throws Wes outside, and Wes gets DQ'd with the 3 seconds. So now it's down to Brad and Evan. Brad finally makes his move. Brad fucking throws Evan to the ground with 2 feet left and just rolls. He's through it. Alright, so Brad, he's going on to the next round. Next is the other guy's heat. Nehemiah versus CT versus Derek versus old Big Easy, man.
When we were watching this, I had a prediction right from the get-go who was going to win it. I was like, CT's got this.
I don't remember it too clearly because I wasn't able to jot down my usual notes at all. But I believe Nehemiah and Big Easy DQ'd themselves. I think they fought, and then they DQ'd themselves. And it came down to Derek and CT, and then I don't know. Was it?
Something like that.
Fuck.
I don't know. I feel like Derek ended up like falling off the track on his own, and then just getting 3-second violation, and then it was just like CT by himself, wasn't it? No. Perhaps not. But CT won in a landslide.
All right, so let's get to the girls' heat. Beth versus Diem versus Jody.
The heat was hot.
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Diem's heat went out. Her flame went out immediately. She basically flopped down on her ass.
I know.
And she must have just really hurt her butt or something. Yeah, she was DQ'd immediately. And then it was Beth versus Jody. And this was kind of funny and sad and everything else. When it comes to Beth, you feel so much different emotions where you're laughing at her, but then you feel bad for her. So Beth is in the front. She's kind of in the lead, and then lets Jody just pass her by. All the guys are like, wow, and starts like, booing. And Beth acknowledges it. She's like, I'm the villain all the time. That's how it's always going to be. But I just want to play a nice, clean match. I'm not going to play into the hoopla.
She didn't want to have to elbow Jody and push her out of the way and make another enemy in order to win. That's what I think it was. She didn't want to ruffle any feathers and make someone else upset at her because she has enough enemies as it is.
Jody ends up getting the win. Beth said she wanted to play a nice, clean game. However, there are some fans that might say Beth chickened out. She has a reputation. I'm not going to say it's before this or after this. It might even be both, actually. She said one thing, but everyone around is like, I think you just bitched out. I think you were scared. You quit because you were legitimately scared.
I mean, that may be possible in other future instances, but
you felt that she really just wanted to skate?
I think she could have totally destroyed Jody. She has a weight advantage on her, a strength advantage.
Well, then she could have won. She could have went on to the next heat.
She doesn't want to have everyone else have like another reason, like, geez, she just pushed her down really aggressively and be upset at her.
Next is little bitty Casey with the fake boobs. Anissa and Paula.
We have to mention their fake body parts now? Okay.
That was the first thing she said. She's like, since my third place win, I got myself some boobs. The best investment I ever made.
Because obviously her personality is not paying dividends, so she needed to go elsewhere.
I find her bubbly.
She has a cute face.
So those breast enhancements are person enhancements.
No, it's a visual enhancement, but once she starts talking, I'm just like, wow, I wish you...
Oh, you don't like Casey?
She comes off as the annoying hot chick to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she never has anything funny to say or cute to say. It's always just like kind of bitchy and like meh.
You never enjoy that on a show ever, where you just like to see someone on your TV that looks nice?
I'm just dissing her just because she has nice boobs. I mean, it's her trying to make up for the fact that she doesn't have a nice personality.
Oh.
She's overcompensating.
Oh shit. But you know what? This overcompensator ends up winning this fucking thing. Anissa, Paula, Casey, they're in this race. They're going, but then Anissa fucking attacks Paula. Anissa throws Paula to the floor, and Paula's DQ'd in 3 seconds. Then goes after tiny, eensy-weensy Casey. And Casey is able to survive Anissa's attack. Like, Anissa's trying to throw her over the railing, and that's when Anissa's DQ'd. And then little Casey wins. For the record, for the history books. So next is Svetlana, personal favorite. Just on looks alone, probably.
Yeah, she's super hot, and I like her personality more. Like, Casey's hot too, but Svetlana, she's hot, but she can randomly say some funny shit. She is kind of catty and bitchy at times, but she can also be kind of funny and likable at the same time.
Yeah, and it helps that your ass is on the line when you see all your friends getting eliminated, one after the other. Bananas, Tyler, Paula, spoiler alert, it brings out, a girl in danger is hot. I don't know. Hey, you know what? They made dozens of Friday the 13th movies and Halloween movies, and it's always the same thing. A girl in danger, alright?
Exactly. It worked for Neve Campbell. It worked for Jennifer Love Hewitt. Yeah. It worked for those chicks. I mean, they were hot on their own, but the fact that they might get destroyed and eliminated, whether, fictionally or non-fictionally, it made them hotter. She was on the chopping block because all of her friends were gone. I mean, is she going to make it to the sequel? It's just like a horror movie.
I feel validated.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what I said.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very hard tree branch to reach out to and find, but we found it.
All right, so Svetlana versus Robin versus Kina. Robin blows a wheel. She pops a tire. So she has to take off her skate and...
Yeah, and then she's trying to one-foot it around like...
At that point, do you even try?
No, quit trying.
Yeah.
You freaking blew a tire.
I don't know, it's just a boring-ass race. Svetlana's in the lead of Kina throughout the whole thing, and Svetlana wins. And she's like, I won, just like my instinct said I would, or something like that, remember? Where she had that weird...
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? What does that mean?
It was funny, yet egomaniacal all at the same time.
Oh, but that's what you
like,
do for a chick.
It's like I didn't like it, but I did like it all at the same time. I was like, okay, I'll allow it.
All right, so let's move on to the second heat of the guys. It's Brad versus CT for the goddamn bike. This is 10 laps. And for the most part, CT is being offensive to me, to everyone. And he's like...
Verbally offensive. Oh, yeah.
Throwing Brad to the floor countless times.
Oh, yeah. It was just a brawl. He was just going to destroy him physically and then skate to victory. That was his plan.
Yeah, and Brad's shirt is torn up and shit.
Oh, he looked like he went Hulkamania style, but he didn't do it himself. CT did it to him.
After how many laps, who knows how many times CT attacked Brad, it was on the 10th lap and final lap that Brad made his move, attacked CT while CT was in the lead, threw him to the floor, made the final lap, and he won the bike.
I was rooting for CT so hard here. I wanted CT to win because that was like my prediction from the get-go. CT was going to win it all. And Brad, I mean, just by looking at him, he looks like he's a guy who probably already owns like 2 crotch rockets. And I feel like he just won a third one. Yeah, just by looking at him, he looks like a crotch rocket guy already.
But you know what? Brad said this tops anything I've ever done in this challenge. This is a dream come true or some shit. This isn't his first rodeo. He was in Battle of the Sexes 2, Inferno 2, and Gauntlet 2. So this is his 4th fucking challenge, man. And for him to say after everything he's experienced, he's like, this is fucking awesome.
That's a great prize. And the challenge they did, the roller derby, to be able to win that against all his competition, that's a great accomplishment. Yeah. He's right.
Final female heat. Svetlana versus Jody versus Casey. To be honest with you, this was pretty humdrum. They just basically skated. I don't think anyone attacked anyone. And if they didn't, I'll just make up a lie. Svetlana tried to go for Jody in the last second, but couldn't do it. And Jody kneed her in the chin. It must have been like Svetlana and Jody were pretty neck and neck, but then Jody just ends up taking it. There was no excitement to it at all.
Yeah, it was very unmemorable. I barely remember it.
Deliberations. Let's talk deliberations. Where one must vote for another person to save one's skin.
Basically, choose someone who you're familiar with or friends with that you've been with in a past season until we get dwindled down to the very end. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know all these people and all of their pasts, but it does seem like it's friends picking friends.
There was some political moves. Instead of choosing a friend, they choose someone else that might be popular. Like when Brad chose DM last episode. To me, that was more of a political move than anything else. But let's get into the here and now. God damn it. So Jody wins. She wins immunity. Not a bike, but immunity. She gets to carry on.
Which is probably not as good as a bike. I would probably rather get eliminated from the show and get the bike.
No, that's...
Right?
No. I'm not going to try and explain it.
I know. It doesn't work that way, but still.
Okay, so Jody chooses Evan. From what I can tell, I mean, they were partners before.
And Evan did very well in the challenge itself, so it's, I feel like it's okay. You can justify it by saying, hey, he did well in the challenge. He deserves to stick around.
Yeah, and Evan chooses Robin. I don't know. I wasn't able to study this episode as succinct as I possibly could. So really, I feel like this episode's going to falter a little bit. So I'll just go from a pure passionate response to how the challenge was. Evan chooses Robin. Robin chooses Brad. I believe that's because they're from the same real world friends. Makes sense. Brad chooses Kina. Kina onto Derek. Derek onto Diem. That's not too out of left field for Derek because Derek and Diem are actually partners on Fresh Meat 1. and they actually had a romantic relationship.
Ooh, is he trying to stoke the fire?
Oh, yeah. Would you hit on Diem if CT was there and you knew damn well he's like, hey, Derek, you fucker.
It's not a blatant taking a pass at her, but, it's a little, hey, what's up?
Derek, Diem. Diem goes for Wes. Wes goes for Anissa. I believe this is because Anissa saved Wes twice now. Anissa goes for Nehemiah. They were partners previously. Nehemiah chooses Beth because Beth has been saving Nehemiah's ass. And from the previews of the next episode, it's finally starting to make sense why Beth keeps saving Nehemiah.
How so?
Relationship. So Nehemiah chooses Beth. Finally, he returns the favor to her, his sugar mama.
Oh, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. Because have we really seen any romantic stuff go on this season yet? Oh, CT and Diem.
Everyone's hitting on Diem. CT hasn't really stood out too much.
They showed that first episode, but nothing really since then.
Yeah, all he did was like, "Hey, she's hot," and I'm sure everyone else had a confessional, and they've probably
omitted it all. Yeah,
were poetry, their love for Diem, but they were like, who's more important, Derek because he used to date her, and CT because he will. And these episodes are only like 20 minutes long, for fuck's sakes.
It's a crying shame. We need to see more romance. Come on.
We will, between Beth and Nehemiah.
I know. Yeah, Beth.
Beth chooses Kenny. I don't know if there's any relevance. Again, I didn't get to rewatch these and put everything in order and be professional about it because my computer crashed. We ended up watching it
on MTV's website.
MTV's
Well,
website.
it was that or download a 3 gigabyte thing of the whole entire season, and I'm sure it's probably done with the download now, but I didn't want to wait, the 45 minutes to an hour to do it.
What was I getting at? But yeah, I'm kind of flying off the seat of my...
Britches?
Britches.
Yeah, say britches.
Kenny
it's a term
chooses
that doesn't
Casey
get used enough.
because Casey, I believe, saved Kenny before. And he says so. He's like, hey, God bless Casey. I'm going to save her.
And she's hot, so we'll allow it.
Yeah. Now it's between two guys. And whoever she chooses has to make the final decision between Svetlana and Paula. Casey ends up saying, I want Big Easy to make the decision. So she saves Big Easy. CT gets to just saunter off. Big Easy, before he says anything, Paula's pointing.
Yep. She's like, hey, let me decide. Take her. Save her.
And Big Easy's like, well, Paula told me to do this, so Svetlana, you're safe. So Paula wants to go in.
Yeah, she's totally fine with it, which is admirable. She's like, hey, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, you got to respect it. She's like, hey, I will go and I will choose the person I'm going to face against.
Who she chooses is pretty impressive because Anissa's like, this is her 4th challenge, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't like picking the weakest sheep from
Wouldn't
the herd.
Wouldn't you choose Casey?
Probably.
Just to survive?
Just so when you're wrestling for that pole, you might brush against her boobs or something, right? Or no? Okay.
Casey, before in the episode, she was like, you know what? I'm really trying to get close to Svetlana and Paula, so maybe Paula didn't make the Casey pick because she's like, no, she's a good person. I'm going to go for someone else.
Paula is such a tiny, skinny girl. If you're doing a physical challenge, you need to go against someone in your own weight class. You can't pick someone who is 15 or 20 pounds more.
Oh, yeah. Paula, she's thin. She's rather thin. She regains the weight. She becomes like this complete different personality where she's like one of the all-stars females where like she has some of the best quips. It's crazy. So this is almost like a totally different Paula.
She finally started eating her meat and potatoes and, get back to business.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so picks Anissa. And then TJ presents the cards. It's like choose a card and pole wrestle for the first time. We've never seen this before.
I wish it was called stripper pole wrestle, but it was only pole wrestle.
Ironically, Anissa, I believe, is a stripper.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Paula, spoiler alert, later gets fake boobs, so kind of stripper-esque.
They should have done this right. That pole should not have been 2.5 feet long. It should have been 6 feet long, and it should have been
attached to a ceiling.
Yep, and they should have been scantily clad.
And CT could be like, yeah, there you go, you fucking whore. Oh, but you know what's at stake? The winner between Paula and Anissa?
This is a watch. I don't know. The dudes want a motorcycle. Okay, yeah, you're getting to stick around in the show, but you should have something slightly better than a watch. And especially for a female, there aren't girls who walk around with watches on. Maybe a necklace or some nice jewelry or earrings that were like, ooh, this is diamond earrings.
Oh, yeah, you could do jewelry. But you know how fucking picky women are with jewelry.
But
some
at least
people will look at a jewelry like, oh, this is the heart of the ocean. And some women are going to be like, that is a
But
piece
if
of
you
shit.
make it gold or diamonds, they're going to be for it.
No matter what, gold and diamonds?
Gold and diamonds, of course. Yeah. But like for a watch, it's like, okay, yeah, it could be like a silver watch, and it could be super nice brand, but there ain't a girl who's wearing it, right?
No.
All she's going to do is pawn that shit.
Now we're on to the actual pole wrestle, man. This is the night, the duel night. They each have to take a grip on the pole, one after the other. Didn't Anissa come off as like the offense the entire time?
Yeah.
And Paula just holding on.
She was bigger and stronger, and she kind of dominated it. Paula, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe she hung in there. Like, it was over 8-9 minutes. That's incredible, because I can't believe she held on that long. Like, that was really great. And even in the post-match interview, she seemed very proud of herself, which she should have been, because her picking Anissa to go into this type of fight, she's at a total disadvantage, because it's all about strength, and Paula is just skin and bones. She has no strength at all. For her to be able to hold on like that?
Yeah, but she endured somehow. I mean, she was physically deceptive. She was extremely skinny, but she was strong. Just like her roommate Svetlana said. She was
pound for pound, she was very strong. Because she doesn't weigh a lot, but she had a lot of punch for the little bit that she was packing.
Anissa, at 8 minutes and 19 seconds, rips
Finally.
it out of
And
Paula's
Anissa, she
hand.
should have done it in half the time, maybe.
You believe so? Or
oh, yeah. She
you
had
don't
an
think
advantage.
Paula was just strong? You just thought Anissa was being lazy? I mean...
I don't know that it was lazy, but it's kind of technique. When you're doing a thing like that, you're stronger the closer you are you hold it to your body. You got to get it really close to yourself, and then you have to spin. Anissa, she always had the advantage because she was holding on to it and holding on close to herself, but she wouldn't do the final blow to rip it away.
Coming away from this duel, it's interesting because Anissa and Paula would go against each other countless times throughout the years.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look forward to that. Well, I mean, Paula can definitely take Anissa, but in this type of matchup, she was not at an advantage, just for the type of game they were doing. Anissa definitely should have won it faster. Paula shouldn't have lasted as long, but she went above and beyond to be able to hang in there. But in the future, I feel like anything could happen, because Anissa, she did definitely underachieve.
Are any females popping up in your mind as like, oh, look out for them? Anything like that? No females making a name for
Not
themselves
really.
outside of Beth for being Beth?
Yeah, I feel like Beth.
Jody did just win
Jody, yeah.
2 missions
Yeah, that's
now.
true. Jody, I would give a slight advantage to. I
Yeah.
forgot about her. She does kind of blend in because she's not as hot as the other chicks. But, yeah, as a competitor, yeah, she's definitely a little...
Yeah,
has a
guys
slight
like,
advantage.
guys like peacocking as well. So if you like this, like it. Press the like button.
Even if you don't like it, if you listen this long, just hit the like button out of pity.
Because you know what? Hits mean nothing. People could tune in and click in and only listen to like 10 seconds and they're like, we hate the sound of Vince's voice. Let's do something else.
Wow, thank
You know?
you. Thank you for not saying hating the
You know
sound
what
of
I'm
my
saying?
voice.
You could get 1,000 hits, but it turns out only 400 of them was actually listened to, and maybe half of the time. Subscribe if you like what you hear and you want to hear more and you want to get the notifications when those other podcasts come out. I am probably going to start my own podcast season by myself. I believe I'm going to do The Gauntlet. Now that is going further back than The Duel. This is
What
going
year
back
is that
to
from?
2003, I want to
Ooh.
say.
Who's in there? Who are the stars?
The Miz,
The Miz.
Theo, Coral, Trishelle,
Oh, Trishelle.
Norman,
I know her from Playboy fame.
Kara, I believe. She was
Oh.
from Playboy fame.
Yep.
David G something. He's from Grimm fame.
Oh, he was on Grimm.
He's the lead actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a star-studded cast.
Yeah, and then we got...
Is Jared Leto on this season too? Or no?
as the Joker, and he has a stupid fucking tattoo on his goddamn forehead saying demented. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
It's- It might be on the forehead, but it's a little too on the nose. You know what I'm saying?
I can go on a rampage for a year talking about that.
And that is all we care to share.